Hello to my wonderful subscribers. I wanted to just sit and chat and read a little bit to you from a book that I have permission to read. I was given permission by the White Eagle Publishing Trust in England and in the United States to read portions of a book entitled Astrology, the Sacred Science. It was written by Joan Hodgson. It's been my ultimate favorite astrology book since I first came across it 25 or more years ago. I'm sharing right now because I think it's important for us to know what is the point of astrology. It can be very fun, but it's so much more than that. As we have Diana Bowles, our fantastic Astrology and Val. They do a show together once a month. I'm speaking directly of Diana Bowles because she's done my chart, and she sent me, after we spoke of it together, I didn't quite understand it, and the chart that she sent me I really did not know how to read. So just recently this was discussed at Illumination, Val at Illumination Portal, and her and Diana do a fantastic show once a month, and I highly encourage you to subscribe and watch that. But back to what I'm sharing today. The point of astrology. There are 7 rays of unfoldment. I mentioned recently to Val, and she concurred, which really thrilled me to pieces. I have thought that the solar system is the chakras, the planets are the chakras of the solar system. So to me, the point of astrology is we are in alignment, and to figure out where the holy heck we are in that configuration. I choose to believe that Earth is ascending and we with her. We must move into our high heart in order for us to be able to traverse that with her. So some of what I'm sharing, you can look at it in retrospect as recently as the last full moon in Libra. They called it a strawberry moon. It was just recent. 6 houses of the astrology wheel have new rulership. Everything has shifted. It's a very, very exciting time to be on the planet. And as we release things that don't serve us, and things come bubbling up because they're ready to be released, I thought now might be a good time to share this particular chapter that's entitled The 7 Rays of Unfoldment. Now, I should preface this briefly by saying I am a deeply spiritual woman, but I am not a religious woman. I respect other people's sincerity in the paths and faiths that they walk. And there we go. The souls of men are brought into cycles, into being in cycles, like a great divine outbreathing. With each breath, the myriad souls, which are as sparks of divine fire, pour forth from the heart of the solar logos, that would be the sun, and gradually become clothed with denser and denser bodies until they come into physical incarnation. Then, through eons of time, as they undergo birth, death, and rebirth in the physical world, the divine fire with each soul struggles with matter until eventually it achieves mastery, and the soul is able to give its own special contribution to the universal brotherhood of life. In the beginning, the spirit of man is the pure white light, which is God, which from now on I will be referring to as Creator because I am more comfortable with it. Again, this is for, if I didn't say it before, this is for entertainment and spiritual purposes only. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Yet as sunlight shining through a prism is broken up into 7 colors of the spectrum, so as the process of individualism and individualization and eventually incarnation begins, the pure spirit is subdivided according to 7 rays of light. The heads of those are known as the 7 lords of light. Each ray has its own color, its own characteristics, and the planetary angels lend to each individual soul the color of the ray they dominate. Thus, every soul on earth belongs fundamentally to one of the 7 rays. And according to this ray, the life interests, the gifts, the qualities, and the work of that soul gradually develop through incarnation after incarnation. The 7 rays are concerned with the greater mysteries, those deep inner secrets of the creation of the cosmos. In meditation, we may at times be shown in flashes of illumination certain aspects of this knowledge concerned with the fundamental creative sounds and colors that are used to build worlds. These same creative rays from which form the cosmos, the infinity of solar systems and galaxies in the heavens, play just as wonderful and mysterious a role in the universe as in man's own being. The soul of man is a universe in miniature, a cell within the body of the cosmic Christ. And those same cosmic rays which color the changing order of the seasons and the ages of the great year also color the different phases of soul development. Every artist knows that there is no simple way of describing colors, each one having many different shades, which will result from the blending of other colors and the different qualities of the light. Musicians and makers of musical instruments are aware, too, of the harmonics contained in apparently simple sounds, which can be used to produce a richer quality. Composers need to understand the relationship between the keynote or tonic and all the other notes in the scale, and they study the laws of harmonic progression by which a basic melody can be strengthened and implemented as it unfolds its message, modulating into other keys, changing, developing, but always returning to the keynote. So it is with the planetary rays playing upon the human soul. Although they may appear to be simple and linked with the basic human instincts, the more deeply we study and meditate on them, the more we realize that, like the colors and musical notes, each single ray, through its harmonics, contains all the other rays. The nature of the influence of a planetary ray depends on the on the plane of consciousness with which it is affecting during an incarnation, and its relationship to the basic ray or keynote of the soul, which perhaps explains why there is so much disagreement among students as to the color of the planetary rays. According to their placing in the signs and houses of the natal horoscope, the 7 planets influence all the subtle bodies of man, the celestial, the mental, the emotional, and the etheric, as well as the physical body. Unconsciously, we reflect the light and color and sound, the notes of the planetary angels most active in our personal universe. The tone of voice, spontaneous likes and dislikes, and physical characteristics are all influenced by these planetary angels who draw to us experiences which will develop the particular quality the higher self needs. But permeating these mingling, harmonizing, or jarring notes and colors, always there sounds the note of the great planetary angel of one fundamental ray on which the soul is evolving. We believe that the rays permeate not only the solar system but the whole cosmos, and that we, our own planetary angels, are but the channels for a mightier force which pours into them through the sun from outer space. In trying to understand them, we so often find that not only one but several planets seem to play an important part in the manifestation of any one ray. To many astrologers, it has seemed that the exaltation signs of the planets indicate their function through the rays better than the signs they actually rule. For instance, the first ray, which is undoubtedly the ray of will and must belong to the sun, seems better expressed through the sun's exaltation in the cardinal fire sign Aries than through the fixed fire sign Leo, even though this is undoubtedly the royal sign of leadership. The active initiatory cardinal quality seems to express the essence of the first ray, and this is especially so of the fire sign of cardinal quality Aries, first sign of the zodiac. Mars, fiery planet of the soldier and active pioneer, is of course closely linked with the sun, And so this first power or will ray, an exaltation of the sun in the fire sign, shows the need for power to be balanced by love. The second ray of love, wisdom, the caring, loving, teaching ray, would seem to have a close affinity with the fixed signs, which build, organize, and maintain what the cardinal signs have initiated and fought to bring into being. The only planet exalted in the fixed signs is the moon, in its earthly Taurus. In some ways, it is difficult to separate the first and second rays, for one grows out of the other, and the sun and the moon are positive and negative aspects of the same principle. While the sun, linked with Mars in the cardinal fiery Aries, gives the energy, drive, and enthusiasm to carry all before him in the pioneering and governing capacities of the first ray, through his rulership of the fixed fiery Leo, he gives the warmth of heart and sustaining love which characterizes children of the second. Similarly, the moon, queen of the heavens and ruler of the cardinal watery Cancer sign, in association with the will planet Mars, Saturn, or Uranus, give the active ambition, drive, and tenacity of purpose for the first ray subjects in the cardinal signs, while through her exaltation in the fixed earthy Taurus, and linked thereby with the gentle, gracious Venus, she probably typifies best of all the maternal caring qualities of the second ray. In the human body, which according to ancient wisdom is a solar system in miniature, with all the energy centers will gradually be brought into operation, the sun, moon, and Mercury represent the three worlds of man's being, his threefold nature, spirit, soul, and body, all with their own part to play, yet all inextricably linked. Spirit. The sun relates to the highest, the celestial world, centered in the heart consciousness through which the soul is attuned to the whole cosmic order. Soul. The moon relates to the head world and the development of the sense both of the etheric and physical body. The 7 cervical vertebrae on which the head rests are said to be related to the 7 planets. Perhaps an indication that through constant experience in the flesh, the soul must learn how to develop and use the qualities of all 7 planetary life streams or energies. Body. Mercury, exalted in his own earth sign Virgo, symbolizes the body and the bread which nourishes it, also the labor which earns the bread. In Greco-Roman myth, Mercury was said to have come forth from the head of his father Jupiter. Jupiter, planet of growth and expansion, is of course the polar opposite of Mercury, and through his exaltation in Cancer is inextricably linked with the moon and the mother principle in life, which is why he is concerned with the development and creation of all the different vehicles of consciousness from the physical to the celestial. Through the religious instinct within every soul, he helps the consciousness of the inner world to expand and grow. Mercury and Jupiter, as has been previously mentioned, rule the whole nervous system, but they are especially connected with the vagus nerve of the solar plexus, which the medieval philosophers represented the third world of man's being. The solar plexus center is rather like a magic mirror, which can reflect both the beauty of all the higher worlds of being and the darkness and turbulence of that lower world of the elements. All the elements have to be brought under the control of man's mind and spirit, and quality of each element developed to its fullest capacity. For this reason, that all the other rays are said to unfold and develop from this third one. In natal astrology, both Mercury and Jupiter are concerned with the training and development of all man's faculties of mind and body. Just as we have linked the first 3 rays with the cardinal, fixed, and mutable qualities, it seems logical to link the last 4, which develop from the third ray and its mutable quality, with the 4 elements. Of these, air element seems to be closely associated with the 4th ray, which is usually known as the ray of beauty. It awakens in the soul an instinctive recognition and appreciation of beauty in all its forms, and the desire to express this beauty in life. It is the ray of the soul who longs for harmony and perfection on every plane of being. This longing may be expressed through one of the arts, but it can also manifest through human relationships, as souls on the fourth ray are natural peacemakers and diplomats. They love and worship Creator through the beauty in all nature, and through their friendship and understanding of others' needs. They have an instinctive appreciation of the eternal rhythms of life and nature, and of the wise balance necessary in good human relationships. The planets most obviously associated with this ray are undoubtedly Venus and Saturn, though Mercury must play a part in all expression and the communication of beauty in form or sound. These three planets all rule the air signs, which teach man the lesson of brotherhood. But probably the planet at the head of this ray is Saturn, ruler of Aquarius and exalted in Venus sign Libra. It is Saturn which develops in man the qualities of reason, self-discipline, concentration, and perseverance, which are needed for further mental or spiritual development. Saturn has always been recognized as the tester and the bridge to the deeper understanding of life. The remaining three rays may, in a sense, be regarded as extensions or developments of the first three, in that they lead man through an ever-deepening understanding and knowledge, from the human to the divine state of being. They are all rays of devotion to some kind of ideal or principle, and can only be developed in man as he grows weary of selfish pleasure-seeking and responds to an inner prompting to search for truth and reality. The fifth ray is linked with the third in that it is a ray of the mind. It gives the soul a deep longing to find out how and why of all aspects of physical life through personal experiments. Great scientists such as Louis Pasteur and Marie and Pierre Curie came under this ray, which is probably related to the earth signs, which are again ruled by Venus, Mercury, and Saturn. Saturn gives the cool patience, Mercury the quick thinking of ideas, and Venus the intuitive perception needed for real scientific investigation. But perhaps this ray is best typified by the exaltation of Mars in Capricorn. Mars rules the head, and it is the passionate desire for knowledge, the passionate desire to discover the truths of nature and to understand them with the frontal mind, that causes a soul to dedicate itself to the path of scientific knowledge and discovery. The sixth ray is closely linked with the second in that it is a love wisdom ray, the ray of the devotee. It is the ray of religious aspiration, which brings an intense love and devotion to an ideal or to a divine personality, a teacher or guru. It is the ray of those seeking spiritual unfoldment and an understanding of spiritual rather than material science. Just as souls on the fifth ray feel a devotion to truth which gives them the patience for long, intensive study and experiment, so souls in the sixth ray have the devotion to a beloved and divine personality which gives them the love and patience to serve in the most humble and selfless way, in order that divine love, the power of the Christ Son, may shine through them to bless and heal humanity. The utter selflessness, which is the outcome of this ray, leads the soul naturally to the spiritual power and understanding of the seventh. The sixth is traditionally the ray of Jupiter, planet of religion and philosophy, and is associated with the fire element, Leo and Sagittarius, perhaps more than Aries, though advanced souls under the latter sign can often accept willingly, if not patiently, the crucifixion of the lower self. The crucifixion of the lower self. Perhaps, however, the simple loving devotion and healing power which flows through souls on this ray is best expressed by the exaltation of Venus in Jupiter's sign of Pisces. The seventh ray is in a sense a culmination and combination of all the others. It may almost be likened to the leading note in the musical scale which takes the ear up to the tonic of higher octave. This is the ray of ceremonial magic, whereupon the soul has to be rigorously tested step by step before the inner secrets of the angelic kingdom are revealed and their powers are made available to him or her. Jupiter and the moon are both concerned with this ray of ceremonial magic, also the water signs generally. It is the ray of the natural psychic, and souls working powerfully on this ray usually have Neptune and Uranus strongly emphasized. The power which can be generated by magic and ceremonial properly performed links this ray closely with the first ray of power or will. The exaltation of Jupiter in the moon sign of Cancer probably best expresses the function of this ray, which can be fully operative when man has developed all of his many vehicles of consciousness. Although all the qualities of the Godhead must eventually be unfolded by each soul, each one of us has some special path which we tread. And our tendency to develop upon our rays particular can be traced by a true seer through many past incarnations. This is the reason why certain souls seem to be abnormally gifted from birth, and their circumstances do not explain it. A very little training produces results which years of study cannot give to other souls. Outstanding men and women in any department of life owe their gifts not to luck but to age-old experience on the ray in which their soul was breathed forth in the beginning of the cycle of evolution. There is no need for any man or woman, no matter how humble, obscure, or apparently gifted, to feel that he or she has not a place in the divine scheme. All have one or more outstanding quality, and the gift of their planetary angel, which will gradually be developed and used for the service of mankind, until after years of experience, mastership along that particular line is reached. According to the ray on which it is developing, the soul will have received particular training and experience at certain times in Earth's history and in certain civilizations. Thus, when the fundamental ray is known, it can give a key to the path followed in past incarnations. It is therefore most probable that a soul evolving along the ray of beauty, of healing, art, and music, and harmony in human relationships will have had one, if not more, incarnations in ancient Greece, at a period when the culture of the physical body was regarded as important, and the arts were highly developed, and perhaps have had incarnations in China too. Similarly, the soul in the ray of government, law, and organization could hardly fail to have had past experience in the Roman civilization. The line of work indicated by the ray on which a soul is evolving will always prove the easiest and most harmonious to that soul. But not in every incarnation is the opportunity given for the full expression of its powers. This opportunity varies with the soul's karma. If good use has been made of opportunities in the past, then there will be further scope for unfoldment in the present. If the soul has been slothful, then obstacles will have to be overcome, and not much progress will be made until the urge to serve humanity along the true and most harmonious line has become so strong that it sweeps aside all obstacles, the soul being prepared to make any sacrifice in order to become proficient. With our finite minds, it is difficult to avoid thinking of the rays as neat little shelves on which we would place ourselves, saying, I'm on the first ray, the second, the seventh. But life is not as simple as that. On the mental plane, a soul may be responding to the angels of Mars, which gives a fiery, positive, enthusiastic, and creative mind, while on the emotional plane, it may feel the restricting, steadifying ray of Saturn. Thus, while the mental body is strong and positive, the emotions will be rather inhibited, giving a reserved and shy personality which appears to strangers to be hard and unsympathetic. The real self, the higher self, may be evolving along a love-wisdom ray which gives a deep sense of human nature. But perhaps in a past incarnation, the emotions were allowed free rein, causing suffering to others. In the present incarnation, therefore, the higher self has called on the angels of Saturn to adjust the balance by restricting emotional expression and strengthening the mind and reason. The many experiences, the joys, sorrows, achievements, and disappointments of human life are shown in the harmonics and discords of all planetary notes and colors. Gradually, as the soul evolves, the keynote, the true soul ray, will begin to manifest more clearly and strongly, and all the other notes and colors will be harmonized into their proper relationship. Then the physical body will become a perfect instrument for the master soul on that particular ray. As you meditate on the rays, you will probably recognize your own life and work on the outer planes, which has been presented to you by the planetary angels who work under the lords of karma. The type of life you have to live may well be quite different from that which you feel you could have lived, given other opportunities, training, and family background. Perhaps deep within your soul, you are artistic, loving music and beauty, form and color, and longing to find some way of expressing beauty. But your present karma ties you to rather tedious routine work in an office, shop, school, farm, or factory, or at the kitchen sink. This, of course, means that you have undertaken a certain discipline in your outer life in order to tune one of your subtler bodies, which is not yet very strong. In a past life, you may have well had the opportunity to develop your emotional body and creative gifts to quite an advanced stage, but reached a point where you could make no further progress until some other vehicle, some other quality of consciousness was developed or strengthened. So if your present life is difficult and frustrating and you feel you cannot express yourself as you would wish, or if perhaps you are struggling with a sick and weary physical body, you can comfort yourself with the thought that you are being given an opportunity to develop a different but important aspect of your being. Know that through this period of trial and discipline, you are unfolding your consciousness and growing nearer to mastership. For those who are able to study their own horoscope, there are certain keys or pointers which will help them to sense the planetary ray, which, while not dominant in the outer life, seems in a subtle way to be pervading the whole horoscope. It is not necessarily the planet of the sun sign, although meditation on the sun sign will always give you a key, which will lead you to deeper understanding. For the sun is the horoscope represents the higher self, the highest self, and the sign in which it is placed indicates the motive behind the incarnation and the plane of consciousness upon which the soul needs to gain greater strength and control. The planet which rules the sun sign will give a significant pointer, but it is not necessarily the basic soul ray. Remember that the sun rules the heart. It is the heart of the horoscope. Through the mind, in the heart, the source of divine wisdom in every soul, knowledge of the basic ray, or the true work of the soul, can be found. This subject of the heavenly rays is so profound that we shall never comprehend it with the finite mind. We can only glimpse truth in flashes as we aspire in meditation and learn to become more alert on the inner planes of being. So even without astrological knowledge, it is possible for an earnest seeker to learn something of his own planetary angel. When the earthly mind is brought under control, in the hours of meditation and the absolute stillness of the inner world, the soul gradually becomes more and more aware of a predominating color, a predominating theme in the meditation, the color which is more deeply and truly harmonious. This color, however, may not necessarily be the one we love to have about us in clothing or home decoration in the outer world. Just as often in the physical world, we are called to work or service other than that which is our innermost selves that we long to do. But however limited we may be during the working day, when we are free of our bodies at night, we can, with patience, develop the ability to visit the temples of wisdom in the higher worlds, where our souls long to be, and learn to bring back memories which will help and illumine our daily lives. So I am very much looking forward to hearing from you if you are interested in this subject. If it's too convoluted, please say so and save us both time. For entertainment and spiritual purposes only, I really appreciate you stopping by. Some of that which I just read seemed a little bit like wordy to me, but I believe that there is meaning underneath. It's very difficult, I would imagine, to describe experiential things in mere words. So if colors and flashes of things came into your mind during, that is your own body's responding, going, yes, yes, we know this part. Yeah, we know this. So kind of let it sit a bit as you ponder. And once again, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Bye for now.